So here's number 13 for Summer Review 7. And just, I forgot to go back and change something on number 12 right at the end when I did that little restriction. So let me just take a look at this. If we look back over here, so everything was in like this except we wanted to put a restriction on this domain. So I put just a parentheses around this. And then I put a parentheses and I said x is greater than or equal to 2. And then we just used the test. Okay, math test. Okay, for that, to get that greater than or equal to sign. So that's how you would restrict that domain. Okay, that's a neat little trick to know how to do, especially when you're graphing piecewise functions. Okay, on the calculator. So let's take a look at number 13. Now we want to graph this, and these are just polynomials. And first of all, we want to check the end behavior. So we add up all the exponents, and we just don't worry about these numbers, just the x's. And this is squared, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to behave like y equals x to the 6th. Well, that power is even, so that's going to behave like y equals x squared. So y equals x squared goes like this. So my end behavior is I'm going to start up here, I'm up high, and I'm going to end up high. So you put little arrows there, which means that's what's going to happen with the curve. Okay, and then we just find the zeros. And we have zeros where? At x equals negative 3. Because negative 3 plus 3 is 0. At x equals negative 1. And at x equals positive 2. Because 2 minus 2 is 0. So those are the zeros. And we know our curve is going to start over here, so it's going to come down here. And look at the power on negative 3. And that's even. So what does that mean? That means it touches and returns. If it's even, it's like this. If it's odd, it crosses like the line y equals x. So that's all we have to do. So we can just bring this down like this. And we're not going to try to check any points to see how high it goes. You can always do some checkpoints and check, so it's going to go up here. And if you want to see, you could put negative 2 in here and see what you get, but I don't really want to do that right now. So I'm just going to say it's going to go up, and it's going to come back down, and I don't know how high it's going to go up, so we'll just say like that. This is just a sketch. Like I say, you don't have to find those other points. And when x is negative 1, this is what? It's odd, so that means it's going to cross. Okay? And at 2, it's also odd one, so that means it's going to cross, and that makes sense, because that will be consistent with our end behavior. So it goes like that, something like that. Now again, we could try negative 2, and I could put 1 in and 0 and get some points and see about where it goes. In other words, I could put 0 in pretty easy. If I put 0 here, I get 3 cubed is 9 times 1 times 2 is 18. So it's going way down there. So it's going to go way down farther. So if I put some checkpoints in there, I could get a better idea. But I just really wanted you to see how it touches. And these are things we learned in pre-calculus, but you probably forgot. So, okay. So it goes something like this. It could go up high. Like I say, you can put values in and see that. And obviously, if we put 0 in, we would get negative 18. So it goes way down here. So it's a little bit of distortion there. But this is the most important idea. Okay. And let's take a look at the b. So we'll look and add up the exponents here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. So this is like y equals x to the 9th. That's an odd power, so it behaves like y equals x. Oops. Y equals x. And that's just the diagonal lines. That means it's going to start down here and end up there. So it's going to be something like this. Okay, and then we'll put our zeros in again. And at 3, I have a 0, positive 3. And at positive 1, I have a 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. And at negative 2, I have a 0. Okay? So we're going to start down here. Let's look at the negative 2. And this is even, so it means I'm going to touch and return. And then at 1, I have another even, so I'm going to touch and return. And at 3 I've got an odd, that means I'm going to cross. So we just can connect this like this. Can go down here, it can go up like this, it can go down like this, touch and return, and then cross. And that's all I really want you to do. Don't worry about finding. You could put 2 in here, and you can get a value. And you can actually get the corner of this point, and then you can actually put, like, I guess, -1 and 0. And if we put 0 in here, it looks like we're going to have a pretty big number. So these can go pretty high or pretty low. So I'm just using the scale. If I used a straight line, then I could just put my points in, label them like that. Okay, but this is the kind of the behavior of what happens. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And if for some reason we had a negative x, it would be this way. And if we had negative the square root, it would be like that. So they behave like these functions. This is just straight diagonal line. So you can see your behavior, your end behavior. Okay, so I hope that makes sense.